Hey, this is Kenneth, and today I'm going to show you how to cut with a bandsaw. Now, before I get started, I want to disclaim, I'm only going to show this to you. Do not take this for actual training. If you have access to a bandsaw, make sure that you talk to a bandsaw cutting professional and have them get you checked out, because this thing will eat fingers like I eat Tootsie Rolls, and that's very quickly. Alright? Now, that being said, the bandsaw is a very versatile, middle-of-the-road cutting tool. The other options for serious cutting would be the table saw, which is for exclusively straight cuts, and the scroll saw, which is for light but highly detailed cutting. Now, before we start cutting, we're going to need to select the proper blade. Now, the important thing is getting both the right width of blade, the right type of blade, and getting the right tension on the blade. Now, on the back of most good saw blades, this is the box that they come in, it has a little chart. So you can see blade width goes from about 3/4 of an inch down to 1/8 of an inch. Now, what that dictates is how tight of a radius you can cut. So you can see with a very thin blade, you can cut relatively tight radiuses, where with a thicker blade, we'll cut wide radiuses. Now, the advantage of using the wider blades is you'll get a cleaner cut, which will be much more prone to be nice and smooth. So if you're going for very wide, smooth curves, the widest blade that you can use is ideal. Alright, it's going to vary per machine, but once you select the right blade, and it also has the application, so like if it's a general purpose cutting of wood, or if it's a general purpose cutting of ferrous or non-ferrous metals, or for premium hard tooth blades for cutting aluminum, magnesium, other ceramics like that. Now, once you've selected the correct blade and gotten it installed, or between cutting operations while it's in storage, you're going to want to leave the blade untensioned. This is done through the tension adjust, which is typically found on the top spindle on the back. Now, the blade that we're using is a 1/2 inch blade, because that's really kind of generally a real useful one, and you just want to crank this down so that the red line from the tension adjust goes to the 1/2 inch thickness. Too loose, and the blade's going to sit there and hum back and forth, and it's going to wear badly, and it's not going to cut as well. Too tight, and you run the risk of actually breaking the blade, which is bad. Now that we've got the right blade installed, it's time to adjust the guard. So this is the material we're going to cut today, and so what you want to do is you want to make sure that the guard can clear the material so it can actually fit through the blade. Now, to do that, up here behind is a knob to loosen this whole assembly, and you'll be able to move it up and down and around. Now, once you have it set to the right height, which this happens to be, it's important to make sure that these two blocks are very close to the blade but not touching it, and that this roller bearing back here is very close to the blade, and it can be touching it. And this roller bearing prevents the blade from going back too far, and these two prevent the blade from walking and wandering too much. So once you have those two adjusted, you're ready to cut. Alright, so now we're ready to cut. Now, things to remember. 1. Nice, gentle, even cuts. Nice and smooth. You don't want to try and cut too tight of a radius on the bandsaw. It won't be happy. 2. Fingers don't go in there. I'm a huge fan of keeping all 10 of them. I have a very personal relationship with all 10 of my fingers, so really try not to cut your fingers off. 3rd, proper safety equipment. Safety glasses, hearing protection. Alright, let's go. So this was Kenneth showing you how to use a bandsaw. Now, if you want to get access to one in your area, look for hacker spaces, tech shops. I know that the tech shop in the Bay Area is an excellent shop. Many universities or JCs will also have access, will give you access to these. So go forth and cut the world.